as you know, this anti-aging market, it is taking off. What you see here is, screenshots from Time magazine, and everybody's been focused on anti-aging to slow the wrinkles and to slow the age spots. But what's actually happening is this anti-aging market is blowing up because of the impact on disease. And what they're finding is that as we slow down the aging process, we can actually slow down the disease process. And so that's why the anti-aging market, this opportunity to delay human death, it's going to be increasing from 100 billion in 2019, this year, up to 600 billion in 2025. That is unheard of growth. And it's one of the things that piqued my interest, because I knew if the market was going to grow this big, that there was a big opportunity for me as well to help a lot of people. So what do we do here at LifeVantage? We are unique in a nutraceutical company because we use epigenetics. So epigenetics is understanding how the environment impacts the way our genes express themselves. And those genes, they're just mere blueprints, right? We now know that only about 20% of our genes are hardwired. We have the ability to change up to 4 million different genes in our body. And we do that with this light switch called nutrigenomics. And so when we make a gene that does good stuff, do even more good stuff, that's called upregulating the gene. And if it's a gene that does harmful things in our body and we turn that dimmer switch down, that's called downregulating. And so that's what we do here at LifeVantage and why we're unique. Now, nutrigenomics is pretty simple. It's just the scientific study of understanding how food and food compounds impact our genes deep down at the cellular level. So if the science gets a little confusing to you, just remember nutra for nutrition and genomics for genes. So we're going to use nutrition to help change the way your genes are expressed. So I want you to think back to 100 years ago or even 1,000 years ago about what our bodies were exposed to as human beings. We didn't have pesticides and herbicides, and we didn't have GMOs and toxins, pollution. We didn't have cosmetics and cleaning supplies with toxins in them. We didn't have pharmaceuticals, even though they're good. Sometimes those create some toxins in our body as well. So all of these things you see on the screen have really wreaked havoc on our body that we haven't evolved to be able to handle. It's damaging our cells deep down at the cellular level. And so what we do here with LifeVantage is we want to teach you how to biohack. What that means is taking your life back. We're going to help you optimize your genetic potential, maximize your performance, optimize your health span, and ultimately not just help you live a quality of life, but help you extend your lifespan or the quantity of life as well. Now, this is a really important slide because it gives you a snapshot of the relationship between disease, chronic disease, and death, and how that significantly changes as we age. So what you see here on the screen is once you hit 40, every 8 years after that, your risk of death from a chronic disease doubles. And then it doubles again, and then it doubles again. And so I actually turned 56 this year. My risk of death is quadrupled compared to what it was when I was just 40 years old, just about 15 years ago. So this is a really big reason that you saw that forecast jumping from 100 billion to 600 billion. What we know is that there's this book, a great book by Dr. David Sinclair. He's a geneticist and a molecular biologist at Harvard, and he's been nominated as one of the 100 most influential people in this field. And he wrote this book called Lifespan, and in it he says, listen, what we are learning now is in the past, people like him, researchers, geneticists, molecular biologists, they spent their time studying how do we treat a specific disease. But as you saw in that prior slide, you may treat cardiovascular disease and then somebody gets lung cancer. And so they were jumping from disease to disease because most people as they age get more of them, comorbidities, right? And so what Dr. Sinclair said is, look, we know now that if we can slow down the hallmarks of aging, that we can slow down the disease process. And if we can slow down disease, we can delay human death. He used a really profound example when he said, if you get lung cancer and you are a smoker, your chances of getting lung cancer are 5 times increased. But he said your chances of getting cancer overall once you are older than 50 is 1,000 times increased. So that's why it's so important we focus on the hallmarks of aging. And so these are the 9 hallmarks of aging that he mentions in his book and that you can find in various studies all across PubMed.gov. So the first hallmark is epigenetic changes. That's what we mentioned at the beginning of this presentation. We want to be able to turn on those good survival genes so that they can protect you the way they did when you were younger and turn down the bad ones so that they don't continue to harm you. We know cellular senescence, that's deterioration in our cells. And when that happens, we get inflammation. You may hear that referred to as inflammaging because it happens as we get older. You also see the next factor is more inflammatory molecules. This one's from improper or altered intracellular communications. We see lots of protein maintenance, deregulated nutrient sensing. Think about any old person that you know and their ability to absorb and utilize their nutrients in a proper way. That changes, right? Genomic instability or breaking in that DNA. We want to find a way that we can repair that DNA. And then, man, I love these last three. Mitochondrial dysfunction is all the rage in medicine right now. Mitochondria and defective mitochondria are linked to so many different disease processes, but especially cardiovascular health and neurological health, because we have more mitochondria in our cardiovascular system and our neurological system than we do anywhere else. And then you may not have heard of telomeres. Telomeres are at the end caps of our DNA that protect us during the cell division process. You'll hear a little bit about that tonight. And then stem cells. Everybody's heard about stem cells. We also know that that's one of the hallmarks of aging. So what we want to be able to do is address these hallmarks. And here's an example of the diseases that are caused by oxidative stress on the left-hand side or associated with it, and the diseases on the right side that are caused or associated with mitochondria or dysfunctional mitochondria. Now, here at LifeVantage, we don't treat, cure, prevent, or mitigate any disease, but what we do is help turn on your body's own pharmacy so that it functions the way it did when it was young, right? And with that, we believe we can slow down the aging process. Now, we here have addressed the aging process on our products based on these different theories of aging. So the first one you hear about is called the free radical theory of aging. And this is basically saying those antioxidants you take, vitamin C and vitamin E, if you can take enough of those, maybe it'll neutralize those bad free radicals, those toxins that have hijacked our body. Some scientists dispute this because vitamin C and such have not been as effective as they hoped, but you're going to hear about tonight why the antioxidants our body makes are so much more powerful. The second theory of aging is the mitochondrial theory of aging. Again, when our mitochondria are healthy, we are healthy, and when they die, we die. And then the third one is sirtuin, and this is brand new. This is really brought to the forefront by a scientist at MIT and Dr. David Sinclair there at Harvard. This is the sirtuin theory of aging, and it's kind of the new rage. So we're going to start by talking about the three products that we have. So our NRF2 activator came out in 2003. That is focused on oxidative stress and antioxidants and detoxifying your body. That addresses the free radical theory of aging. Our second product that we also pioneered was our NRF1 or NRF1 activator. This addresses the mitochondrial theory of aging. And then our brand new product that is launching on September 30th, so just about a week from now, that is called NAD. And NAD addresses the sirtuin theory of aging. I just wanted to show you who the expert witnesses are because this was really important to me. I didn't want to just believe the salespeople with the company. I wanted to know what experts thought. So this is an example of some of the experts with our company, other physicians that are also distributors. All three of these on the top left are cardiologists. She's a double board certified physician in obesity medicine and internal medicine. This is a plastic surgeon. This is a pharmacist who has developed nutraceuticals. This doctor up here works with patients with ADD and ADHD. These people down here have their PhDs and work with traumatic brain injury patients and stroke patients. And she is a cancer pathologist up in Canada. So the quality of medical professionals with this company is jaw-dropping. We have a vet that works with the USDA right now as we speak, another vet who was the lead research vet with Merck Pharmaceuticals who developed ivermectin and HeartGuard. So the quality of medical professionals is honestly astounding here. And again, more credibility. For those of you that are athletes, these are some of the people who are either customers or distributors. We have triathletes, international cycling champions, NCAA wrestling champions, professional volleyball players, professional surfers, Olympians and X Game champions. This man is a customer, not a distributor. He actually rode in the Derby and the Preakness this year. Professional baseball players and bodybuilders. Again, that is actually my personal customer as well, not a distributor with us. And what I love about this is these athletes, they use our products because they work, not because they're paid endorsements. We don't pay athletes to endorse our products. So they're using it because they get this outcome. They can train harder, they can train longer, and train more often, and that's helping them speed their recovery, optimize their training, and in the big end run, getting them back on the court or the pool or the mat so they can maximize their performance there. We also have several authors who have spoken about our products. Dr. Sanjay Gupta is from CNN. He's a neurosurgeon. He's written about our product in 5 pages of his book, several other books. You can ask whoever invited you to this to get you some of those other authors that have written about our Nerve 2 activator. And then finally, this is one of the people that matter to me a lot. His name's Dr. Brian Dixon. He is our Senior VP of Research and Development, just joined us this year. He is a graduate of Oregon State University, a published author, and did several studies related to Nerve 2 activation, glutathione synthesis, which we know boosts 300% with our Nerve 2 activator, alpha lipoic acid, which is in our Nerve 1 activator, and now is significantly involved in bringing our NAD activator to the market. So huge credibility. We've just got a couple more slides I just want to close with here to give you a little bit of background on the company, because you've probably not heard of us before tonight. So our company started as a biotech company called Lifeline Therapeutics. It was founded by scientists who have won international awards, published hundreds of different peer-reviewed studies. In 2005, we came out with our Nerve 2 activator, and it was featured on ABC Primetime, the investigative journalism show. You see John Quinones in the slide there. He took our Nerve 2 activator and had his oxidative stress levels decrease by 46% in just 2 weeks. So he actually outperformed the study. Some people have run into him. He is still taking our Nerve 2 activator to this day. And we got all sorts of attention, and our sales jumped from a couple $1 million all the way up to $7 million, but then they dropped again. We were only selling about half a bottle per store per month. So we were in places like Rite Aid and your health food supplement stores, and it wasn't moving. And so we hired some consultants to say, why is this amazing product with all of these amazing studies not moving off the shelves? And it was because people needed to explain how it worked. They said, look, it's right next to vitamin C. Nobody understands what NRF2 is compared to vitamin C. You need somebody to tell the story. And so to tell that story, we switched to direct sales in 2009. Our sales were about $3 million. They had dropped back down. By 2012, they jumped to $100 million. And over the last 6 years, they've been around $200 million. Just this year, at the end of fiscal year 2019, we had $226 million in sales, a record for us. But the other thing that mattered to me when I looked at this company is that we are publicly traded on the NASDAQ. We are on the same stock exchange as Amazon, Google, Facebook, Apple. Big deal. There's about 10,000 companies in network marketing, and they hide their secrets. Honestly, there's only 20 of them that are publicly traded where you can go look behind the curtain, right? We all that are publicly traded companies have to file reports every quarter with the US government, Securities and Exchange Commission. You can go look at those reports yourself. They talk about our products. They talk about where we are financially. So for me, that was very, very important. But even more important, when I looked at those, I was shocked. And this is why. What you see on the screen is the institutional investors who have purchased our stock at this company. And so direct sales companies, they don't have hedge funds and mutual funds. These hedge funds and mutual funds, think of them like the Shark Tank money kind of guys, right? These are the Warren Buffetts of the world. These are millionaires and billionaires who invest money for other millionaires and billionaires. So Renaissance Technology is the most successful hedge fund on Wall Street. They've returned an average of 30% return on their investment to their investors over the last 20 years. They built their model off of being mathematicians and statisticians with the Department of Defense, breaking codes. So brilliant people that have had a brilliant return. They are one of our top shareholders. BlackRock, you see there, that is the largest hedge fund on Wall Street. They control $6 trillion worth of assets. And of those assets, about 12 million of them are here in stock with LifeVantage. And then you see Vanguard, that's one of the second largest hedge funds on Wall Street. Not only does their hedge fund own our stock, but 2 different mutual funds with Vanguard own our stock as well. That total there, as of the end of August, was about $75 million. So for me, this was a big deal because I knew that these guys, they have people who specialize in pharmaceutical stocks and in anti-aging market, people that do nothing but study industry every day. And if they were investing in this company, especially because it's a direct sales company, that meant that they knew that there was something big going on here and that they believed in the science that we believe in here at LifeVantage. So that was another big piece of evidence for me. As we close tonight, I just want to thank you for joining me as we talk here about LifeVantage, about how we can improve our aging process using nutrigenomics and help you heal yourself using NRF2 to combat that free radical theory of aging, NRF1 to combat the mitochondrial theory of aging, and our NAD activator to combat that sirtuin theory of aging. So we just want to invite you to get back to whomever invited you to this call tonight. They can answer any questions you have or get you on a call or a three-way chat with somebody if they aren't able to. But let them know if you're interested in being a customer and experiencing the crazy changes that are happening to people with our NRF1, NRF2, and NAD activators, or if you're interested in exploring the business and going into business with us, just like those guys on Wall Street did. So thank you very much for joining me tonight. Again, my name is Michelle Lorenz. I'm very excited to have spent this evening with you.